for the Saints and the Panthers. Down to the field, Tony Siragusa.
Thanks, Kenny. You know, everyone thinks that this Saints team has lost their home field mojo with 3 straight losses here in the Dome. And the Panthers, talking to them, they think they can make it 4 in a row. But you know what? If they want to have any success, they're going to have to do 2 things. They're going to have to start fast, and they're going to have to score early. And that sounds pretty simple, but this Carolina team has scored the fewest first quarter points in the NFL. So in my opinion, it's going to be anything but the Big Easy for the Panthers here in the Dome today.
All right, Tony, and Ron Rivera's Panthers have won the toss. Will receive. Carolina 6 straight losses. Their last win way back on October 5th over Ron's former team, the Chicago Bears. Sean Payton's Saints, as Darryl mentioned in our open, they've won their last 2 on the road, but have dropped 3 straight here at home after winning 11 consecutive games in the Dome.
And when you talk to the Saints, whether it's Sean Payton or the players, and try to find out why that is different this year, he says, listen, it's nothing to do with home and away. It's just about playing good football. We have not played good football, good complementary football here at home this season.
Hey, did you guys like my opening line with the Big Easy? I mean, you guys didn't even say nothing.
Tremendous play on words.
Thank you.
Tremendous play on words.
A lot of thought went into that one.
Absolutely, Goose.
Your English major background came shining through.
Just popped right out there, didn't it?
Well, Cam Newton and the Panthers will start from the 20. 60th NFL start for Newton. He's down to 2 Pro Bowls without the all-time leading rusher in Carolina Panthers history, D'Angelo Williams, today. So Jonathan Stewart in the backfield along with the fullback, Mike Tolbert. On first down, the fake to Stewart. And the catch is made by the fullback, Tolbert. And he picks up a first down.
That's one way to shock him, huh, Darryl?
Yeah,
to the fullback.
And let's put the emphasis on fullback. Mike Tolbert, if you get him out in space, is going to be tough to tackle. But look at the athleticism right here.
Tremendous.
Yep, blocks it up, locates it, works the sideline. Look at that. Look at the big man down there.
Stayed in bounds and everything.
Tolbert gained 18. 3 receivers set. Newton from the shotgun on first down. Over the middle. Out to the 43-yard line to the tight end, Greg Olsen, who's having a terrific season. Olsen gains 5.
And we got a couple of young guys in the offensive line. One of the areas, there's 3 specific areas for the Panther team that we're in a kind of state of transition this season. That's one of them, the wide receiver, the other position. But let's lean on Jonathan Stewart. You know, you talk about getting off to that fast start. We expected Jonathan Stewart right from the start, but it's been play action.
Olsen lines up in the backfield. Off the fake to Stewart, it's Newton, and he picks up a first down and more. He's inside the Saints 40, finally forced out of bounds at the 36-yard line. So Newton, with his longest run of the season, he gains 21.
And that's the danger, and they force you to account for both quarterback and running back in this. And on this play right here, you've got Greg Olsen out in front with that block, a nice play design that allows Cam Newton to get up and under and then out to the sideline.
Only the 3rd run of at least 20 yards for Carolina all season. Stewart had the first 2. First and 10 from the 36-yard line. On the slant, it's the veteran Jericho Conchery. Down to the 27, a yard shy of the marker. The Saints having their issues once again on defense, ranked 31st in the league.
It's been a struggle this season. They had a really nice year last year in Rob Ryan's first season as defensive coordinator, but they've struggled. Cam Jordan trying to get his guys up. That front needs to really take control. You don't want to have to add guys to get pressure on the quarterback.
Goose mentioned Carolina, lowest scoring team in the entire league in the first quarter this season. Panthers on the move on their opening drive. 2nd down and 1. And they pick up yet another first down. It's the rookie out of Florida State, Kelvin Benjamin, who was held in check by the Saints in their first meeting, and Benjamin gains 15.
And this is a special young receiver in the NFL. Big physical guy. Slant route right there, crossing the face of the defenders. Tough to bring down once he gets rolling in that secondary.
Yeah, I like the pace of this Carolina offense right now.
Newton starts the game 4 for 4. in addition to the 21-yard run. And this is Newton diving forward to the 8-yard line.
There's the emphasis with the points this season in the first quarter for the Carolina Panthers, and it's one of the things they've talked about as part of their struggles. This is a run-first team. We've seen them come out here this afternoon, lean a little bit more on the pass, the play action specifically, but there is a style of play that helps this team be successful, and if they're not good early in the game, it really hinders that.
And they've only scored 2 red zone touchdowns, Darrell, over their last 5 games. Second down and 6. Newton with time to the end zone, and the catch is made by Benjamin for a Carolina touchdown.
What an impressive opening drive for the Carolina Panthers. Kelvin Benjamin at the top. Watch, they're going to let him be a little bit physical on this. Little hand check and some pushing beyond that 5 yards. And that's a heck of a throw by Cam Newton. Not a lot of area. They feel comfortable with Keenan Lewis matched up against Kelvin Benjamin. He had tight coverage, but that was just great location on the throw by Cam Newton.
What an opening drive for Carolina. 9th touchdown reception for Benjamin. Panthers score a touchdown on their opening possession for only the 2nd time this season. Newton perfect, 5 of 5. Graham Gano the extra point. So the Panthers win the toss, select to receive, and they silence the crowd here in New Orleans.
Game is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com.
Good start for the Carolina Panthers. Cam Newton accounting for all 80 yards on the drive, 56 in the air, 24 on the ground. And the Saints allow a touchdown on their opponent's opening possession for the 6th time this year, most of the NFL.
Yeah, and it's been a challenge for them, and they've started out slow offensively. That's one of the reasons they find themselves with the record they have at this point in the season. Very uncharacteristic in a number of areas from the Saints team we're used to seeing over the last couple of years.
So the Saints will start from their 20-yard line, led out by the reigning NFC Offensive Player of the Week. 5 touchdown passes against the Steelers last Sunday for Drew Brees.
Today's game is sponsored by Bud Light, who reminds fans to stay in the game and drink responsibly.
Looks like he's having a lot of fun back there. The Pope is in the audience.
Now Drew Brees hopes to have some fun as the Saints take over on offense. For the first time today, Mark Ingram, leading rusher in the NFL since week 8. Games just won on first down.
And I think when a lot of us think about the Saints offense, we think Drew Brees and Sean Payton, explosive, aggressive passing game. But really, if you take a look at it, the running game has been key when they've had really good seasons. 2009, 2011, their 13-win seasons, both top 10 rushing teams. Mark Ingram has them in that position again this season. He's been on a great run since week 8.
Brees on second down to the outside. It's Ingram, and he has the football knocked away. It's at the bottom of the pile. Still no signal as the officials look to get to the bottom of the pile, and it will be Carolina football.
Well, if Carolina wanted to start fast, they're going to have opportunities right here.
You can't ask for a game to unfold much better. You see Mark Ingram's got that ball a little bit loose. It's a good play by Josh Norman. He gets a hand on it. It almost bounces right back to Mark Ingram. And you can see he just goes over the top right there. It's back by his legs, and here comes the Carolina defenders in to pull that out. Little loose there as he makes that rotation back inside. The ball comes off the body.
So Norman knocked it loose, and then Colin Cole, number 91, on the recovery. The last time these teams met, back in week 9, a game won by the Saints, 28-10. New Orleans turned it over on their first 2 possessions. So the Panthers take over on the Saints 25. Off the fake to Stewart. Newton throws, looking for Stewart out of the backfield. That's Newton's first incompletion after starting the game 5 for 5.
An opportunity there just on a little check down. Wanted Jericho Cotchery in the back of the end zone, but good coverage by the Saints. Cam Newton just needed to buy a little bit more time there, a little bit more sense of urgency also by Jonathan Stewart as the check down back.
Second down and 10. 3 wide receivers set. Cotchery slot to the right. Now Cotchery comes in motion, shifts into the backfield. It's Stewart on the handoff from Newton. And Stewart takes it inside the 20 to the 19-yard line for a gain of 6, setting up 3rd down and 4.
Jonathan Stewart following up a big game last week for the Carolina Panthers. You see those numbers right there, sharing time with D'Angelo Williams, who's not in the lineup today, but that 1-2 punch just going to be Jonathan Stewart here this afternoon. I'm interested to see how he plays when he's going to be the guy you're going to lean on. There's not going to be that shared rep where you're in and out of the lineup, and maybe right as you start to build some momentum, you have to come out, and D'Angelo Williams comes in for you.
Season high 85 yards on the ground for Stewart in Minnesota last week. 3rd down and 4. Play clock is at 2, and the Panthers use a timeout.
There's some veteran leadership there by Greg Olsen, recognizing
exactly.
that play clock is running down. Cam Newton's at the line in the audible situation, and he's got his tight end that's got his back in that situation, making sure you get that timeout called. It's a critical possession right here. You've got an opportunity to really jump on New Orleans at the start of this game and get up by 14. You cannot have opportunities like this and continue to kick field goals once you get down into the red zone.
It's the first 3rd down situation for Carolina. They did not get to 3rd down on their opening drive. 8 different starting combinations along their offensive line, tied for the most in the league. 7 the last 8 games.
And we'll see if Rob Ryan and his defense can take advantage of that in their blitz package.
Saints last in the league on 3rd down defense. Newton on 3rd and 4 overthrows Jericho Cotchery. He was wide open.
Opportunities to make plays, and Cam Newton has Jericho Cotchery wide open. They do a nice job with the blitz pickup. Watch. The Saints are going to bring pressure, but it's coordinated well with the offensive line and the running backs. Jericho Cotchery crossing the field. Watch how open he is right here, and Cam Newton just misses him.
Here's Graham Gano out to attempt a 37-yard field goal from the right hash. Brad Norman places it down. Gano's kick is straight through. So the Panthers score 3 following the turnover. Ingram has it knocked away. Now 10-0 Carolina.
Today's game is sponsored by Ram Trucks. Guts, glory, Ram.
First time the Panthers have had a lead of at least 10 points in the first quarter all season.
An opportunity, a real good opportunity to have a 14-point lead on that last series. And Cam Newton, you know, it was good protection by his offensive line. We showed you the fact that they've had a lot of different combinations. Could impact the confidence of a quarterback in that situation, but he drifted back a little bit when he didn't have to. He had plenty of opportunity to stand in that pocket and deliver that ball to Jericho Cotchery.
Kickoff through the back of the end zone. Saints will start from their 20-yard line. We've played just over 5 minutes, and this high-flying New Orleans Saints offense has run only 2 plays.
Very similar to that last matchup, Kenny. You mentioned the fact that the Saints came out, had 2 turnovers on that at the beginning of that game. Carolina controlled that first half. They didn't take advantage of their breaks, and then all of a sudden, at the end of the half, they commit a couple of mistakes and find themselves down 14 going in at halftime.
Here Thomas in the backfield for the Saints. Breeze on first down, looking to throw. Fires downfield, and it is picked off. It's Benet Benwickery with his first career pick, the rookie out of San Jose State. There is a flag at the end of the play. So you just mentioned it, Darryl. 2 turnovers to start the game by New Orleans in Carolina. And the Panthers forced 2 on the first 2 New Orleans possessions once again here today.
Looks like that ball's going to be spotted back exactly where he caught it. Take a look at it right here. Trying to get those big chunks. Right there, he was touched. He's down. They're going to bring it back all the way to the 40.
Illegal block in the back of the intercepting team. 10 yards from the spot of the foul. First down.
Now, I don't think it's going to go all the way back to the spot, Tony. I think you're going to get the penalty marked off on the illegal block in the back. But watch as he rips the ball away from Joseph Morgan. He's clean. He's not been touched down.
He was touched before he had possession, but not once he had possession of the ball.
Yeah, he gets it right there, and now he is clean from that point. So that's just going to be the illegal block in the back penalty that pushes the Carolina Panthers back a little bit. But Bené Benwickery, one of the young guys that everybody's been talking about, you know, an opportunity for him to step up today and get some extra snaps.
Yeah, well, they don't have to challenge it. It's a turnover, so it's going to be reviewed. Let's take a look.
Walt Coleman will take a look and see whether or not Benwickery was touched.
After reviewing the play, it is an interception. The intercepted player was down by contact at the 40-yard line. So it'll be 1st and 10 for Carolina at the 40-yard line. Please reset the clock to 9:52, please. 9:52.
So the Panthers lose 11 yards following the decision by Walt Coleman that Benwickery did have possession when he was touched by Joe Morgan. We bring in Mike Pereira from Los Angeles. Mike, do you agree?
Absolutely, and a clear shot that we had right there. He had possession of the ball with the left hand in control, and then he was grazed on really the undershirt, and that's considered part of the body, and that showed him in New York that there was enough to put him down by contact because he controlled the ball first, then was grazed, then went to the ground. So the right call in replay.
All right, thanks, Mike. So instead of 1st and 10 from the New Orleans 49, they move it back 11 yards to the Carolina 40.
I'm still trying to figure out how Tony saw that all the way from the opposite
It's the
end
new
of the end.
glasses. The new glasses I got.
Got a new prescription this week.
Unbelievable.
He is closer to the field than we are.
Yeah, a lot.
So from the 40, off the fake to Stewart, it's Newton. And Newton, who had a 21-yard run earlier, his longest of the season, now with a 22-yard pickup.
But what they're doing right now is everybody is carrying out the fake. This is a great fake right here into this part of the field on the run play. Jonathan Stewart carries it out. Look at everybody he pulls his way. I mean, my eyes follow Jonathan Stewart into the line of scrimmage, and then you look up and there's Cam Newton out on the edge. Real nice run hooks right now by Carolina's option offense.
Newton's longest run coming into this game this season, 15 yards. He has a 21 and a 22 in the first quarter. Newton throws. It's the tight end Olsen. He is close to a first down as we head back to Los Angeles for a game break with Kurt Menefee. Kurt.
Jets and Vikings, first possession, Geno Smith throws a pick six. Third possession, Geno Smith throws a touchdown. Percy Harvin, his first as a Jet, 35-yard score. They're up 9-7 in Minnesota. Kenny Moose and Goose.
Percy Harvin doing it against one of his former teams, the Minnesota Vikings. Surprising start here in New Orleans. Saints have turned the ball over twice, and now Newton's pass is caught down at the 11-yard line by the rookie out of Ohio State, Philly Brown, 18 yards, and a Carolina first down.
And because of those big runs you've talked about, Kenny, by Cam Newton, it's having an impact on this defense. The linebackers are just crashing up in run support, and it's opening up some nice throwing lanes for this offense down the field.
New set of downs for Carolina from the New Orleans 11. Looking to capitalize on yet another Saints turnover. The handoff to Stewart, and Stewart gains 1 down to the 10. So it will be 2nd down and 9. 7 minutes in, first quarter. Panthers already out to a 10-0 lead. The Saints have turned the ball over twice.
Well, can the New Orleans Saints defense do it again this week? Last week against Pittsburgh, off to a slow start offensively. Their defense was good in the red zone. Can they do that again? Can they hold this to a field goal attempt right by the Panthers?
On 2nd down, off the fake to Stewart. Newton throws across the field to Olsen, and Olsen is tackled by Keenan Lewis. Inside the 2, just shy of the marker.
That was a great play by Keenan Lewis. Tell you what, he was blocked one-on-one. If Olsen takes it to the outside, he gets to the end zone. Take a look at it right here. Decides to cut back inside. Keenan Lewis does a great job of an open field tackle right there. He saved the touchdown.
Yeah, bad cut by Greg Olsen. You can see him tapping his chest because he had Kelvin Benjamin in great position to just get to the outside on that.
Yeah, Calvin gave him, went and declared what side he was going to go and block him, and just didn't take that.
Third down and 1. 64, Brian Folkerts in as an extra blocker. Tolbert in the backfield. Low snap. And Newton dives over the top. He reaches across for a Carolina touchdown.
You got touchdown signaled right here on the bottom. So once the ball breaks the plane, that is the end of the play. Breaks the plane right there and comes back, and then the fumble. So that's touchdown, Carolina.
And now some extracurricular activity right near you, Goose. What's going on?
Well, listen, guys are falling down. They're on the concrete right now. They got pushed in. The doors opened up to the end zone, to the walkway.
And there's Tony in the purple shirt just to the right of the screen with a bird's eye view.
Watch. I'll tell you what, Carolina didn't back down. Cam Newton started talking a little bit to the defense. Both of these teams backed each other up.
Sean Payton ran all the way down to the end zone to see what's going on. Newton taunting Cameron Jordan there.
Well, Coleman's got his work cut out for him because there was a lot of stuff going on down here. I'm surprised nobody got hurt. The door's open to the walkway coming down in the end zone. It's all concrete, and these guys all have 7-stud shoes on, so they were slipping and falling.
Yeah, it was pushed open, and we were down in that area, Tony, before the game. It's pretty slippery down behind the end zone.
Usually they put like a rubber mat down for players so they don't have to walk on that concrete because it's like walking on an ice rink like you know about, Kenny.
Yeah, it looked like Newton was celebrating in the face of Cameron Jordan, and then number 50, Curtis Lofton, came in and had words with Cam Newton.
And then as Mike Tolbert and an offensive lineman came in, they bumped into Curtis Lofton and pushed him further into Cam Newton.
After the touchdown, personal foul, number 86 of the offense. That player is disqualified. Personal foul, number 50 of the defense. Those penalties will offset on the kickoff.
I don't agree. I think it should have been taunting. I mean, Cam gets pushed a little bit, but then he taunts, and that's what started the whole deal.
Well, Brandon Williams, number 86, is throwing punches. Watch 86 as he comes in.
Well, that's why he got ejected.
Yeah, he got ejected for throwing the punch. Curtis Lofton, who got the penalty, did not throw a punch. But at the end of this, number 86, Brandon Williams, is seen throwing punches. So he's all done for the day.
And there you see the gates opening up.
And Williams, 86, there it is, right behind the goalpost with a right hook to Cameron Jordan. So Williams has been ejected. Curtis Lofton flagged for a personal foul as well. And you see the signal there from the umpire, Bill Schuster, telling Brandon Williams that he's done for the day.
Now they still have to review the touchdown. I don't know if they got that done yet.
Well, they had a lot of time upstairs.
Yeah, they had plenty of time. Looks like they did.
Newton did break the plane. And now Gano for the extra point.
Ron Rivera is yelling over there to the officials.
Extra point is good. Carolina out to a 17-0 lead. Newton over the top. He breaks the plane. And then during the celebration, he's shoved by Lofton. Williams comes in. Bedlam in New Orleans. Cam Newton and the Carolina Panthers out to a 17-0 first quarter lead on the New Orleans Saints. And then following the touchdown, players getting together and punches thrown by Brandon Williams. There's Curtis Lofton, who was assessed a personal foul as well. We'll take another look following the kickoff. Carolina capitalizing on 2 New Orleans turnovers, 10 points off those miscues, and they lead by 17. Cadet takes an ace. Saints will start at the 20.
Well, you got to remember that as a football player, on the defense, if somebody does something to celebrate, every once in a while you're going to say, you know what, we're not going to let him do it. So there's Cam Jordan. So they have a collision there. There's some altercations there. Now everybody knows Cam Newton's going to come over and he's going to do the Superman sign. So now we're getting into it right there. That's where you see your quarterback kind of stirring that pot a little bit. Now he comes out. Here comes Curtis Lofton. You know, I ain't going to have you do that here. Now, here comes the contact right here by both of the Carolina players.
On first down, it's Ingram, and he is bottled up, loses a couple. Thomas Davis, along with Star Latulele, in on the tackle.
Yeah, so at the end of that, you had Trey Turner, Mike Tolbert kind of bump into Curtis Lofton, who went into Cam Newton, and then everything explodes. So I think Walt Coleman and his crew did a good job. Brandon Williams is out. He threw the punch. Head coach Ron Rivera wanted to know why Curtis Lofton was not ejected as well. He didn't throw a punch. He was in the middle of that whole thing, but he didn't throw the punch.
Empty backfield, 2nd and 11. Catch is made, taken out to the 26-yard line by Marcus Colston. Gain of 7. So it will be 3rd down and 4 for the Saints, who turned the ball over twice on their first 3 offensive plays.
And again, we've talked about this season being completely out of character by the New Orleans Saints, a Sean Payton coach team. We've just seen them do certain things that we have not seen them do in previous seasons.
There was rhythm. You don't feel any kind of rhythm from this offense where they, would get yardage and move the ball.
Jimmy Graham, the intended receiver, but could not come down with the ball in bounds. Thomas Davis on the coverage. Hard to get into a rhythm, Goose, when you run only 6 plays.
No, I totally agree. It's, the run game isn't working. They went for the big chunk there. They got the interception. They got to just settle down, and they got to find a little bit of a groove in order to get this offense moving a little bit.
They've got to do something to steal the emotion and the momentum back from Carolina. You saw at the end of that play, Carolina's defense running off the field excited, and New Orleans' offense moping off the field.
The Morstead punt taken at the 24 by Burson, and a terrific special teams tackle made by Brian Dixon. 50-yard punt. Loss of 2 on the return.
And there's a little bit of emotion created by special teams for New Orleans. Brian Dixon, watch him working right here on the outside. Carrington Bindum, you just keep working down the field. There's your separation right there. Good timing, a good hit. Now, can the defense come out and pick up off that emotion and carry it into this series? They've got to do something here. Force a 3 and out, take the ball away. You cannot allow Carolina to come right back out here with all that emotion from the 17-0 lead and start rolling again.
I agree. Rob Ryan's got to find a way to get to Cam, try to disrupt him a little bit, not let him get in his groove, because right now he's really comfortable in that pocket, running for the ball and passing downfield.
146 yards of offense, and we have not yet played 10 minutes. Panthers lead 17-0, and now Newton is going deep for Benjamin. No flags. Keenan Lewis defending.
Real good coverage by Keenan Lewis on that play. Stride for stride, step for step, jump ball situation. Got to sell that double move a little bit more as a young receiver on the outside. Kelvin Benjamin will become better at selling that double move.
Tell you what, that offensive line is doing a great job for Carolina protecting Cam, picking up everything. There's no pressure whatsoever on Cam Newton right now. And right here, they got 5 guys on the line of scrimmage.
2nd and 10 from the 22. It's Jonathan Stewart, and the line does a nice job there, Tony. Flag at the end of the play after Stewart gains 9, as a couple of players get their hands up. Byron Bell and the safety for the Saints, Pierre Warren, involved after the play.
Well, divisional game, very emotional, always is, can get a little chippy. Walt Coleman and his crew are going to have to monitor this very, very tightly, very, very closely right here, and not allow this game to slip away emotionally.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 13, offense. 15-yard penalty, still second down.
That's on the receiver, Benjamin.
Well, we got a running play. He's coming from the outside, working against Keenan Lewis again. And that's just Brian Dixon this time, so he's just coming off. You can't go down on him. Just leave him there. You just did a tremendous job, Kelvin Benjamin. You just drove, you just blocked your defender to the ground, but you can't now attack him when he's on the ground. Maintain your emotions. That was a tremendous block in the running game.
3rd personal foul of this first quarter. Forces Carolina back to the 16-yard line. Second down and 16. Three receivers set. Newton from the shotgun. Newton off his back foot, throws to the near side, and the catch is made by Philly Brown. Brown makes the catch at the 31-yard line for a gain of 15. One more look.
Well, that's just
unbelievable.
yeah, I don't even know what you say on that, because if you're going to be critical of a quarterback in a pocket, drifting backwards, 1 foot, opposite hash throw to the far side of the field, it's no. What a play. It's hard to defend that. That's just great athleticism in the pocket by a quarterback.
Now third down and 1. Newton for a first down out to the 33 as we head to Los Angeles for a game break with Joel Klatt. Joel.
Connect to Detroit, where the Lions are trying to keep pace with the Packers in the NFC North. That'll help Calvin Johnson from 6 yards out. It's his third touchdown in his last 2 games. 7-0. The Lions up on Tampa Bay. Back to New Orleans. Kenny, Moose, and Goose.
All right, thanks, Joel. Newton converting on third down. Panthers now 2 for 3 on third down today. They lead 17-0. This is Tolbert. And Tolbert falling forward out to the 37-yard line. Gain of 4. Cam Newton off to a terrific start here in New Orleans. He went 5 for 5 on the opening drive, and he has accounted for 155 yards, 105 in the air, and 50 on 5 carries.
Not a bad start, huh, Moose?
He had statistically, guys, one of his worst career games against the Saints back in October. Here's Stewart. He completed only 10 passes in that game, had his career worst completion percentage and passer rating, but a much different story here today.
Yeah, and a lot of that has to do with the success they had in the passing game. Now all of a sudden New Orleans is second-guessing things. The option game today has been really, really productive for the Carolina Panthers.
Panthers have 8 first downs, so Carolina with more first downs than the number of plays the Saints have run. New Orleans turning the ball over twice. Another third and short, third down and 2 for Carolina. Newton looking to throw. He fires downfield, and it's through the hands of the intended receiver, Benjamin, with Lewis on the coverage.
He is really on today. Cam Newton is running the ball well, good decisions, and really putting the ball in tremendous locations. Keenan Lewis, Calvin Benjamin. It's tight coverage again, but watch this throw over to the outside, comes right down the chimney. Boom, Calvin Benjamin. An opportunity for a huge play goes right through his hands.
So Brad Nortman getting set to punt for the first time. Jalen Saunders, the rookie out of Oklahoma, originally drafted by the Jets, spent some time in Arizona and Seattle. Here is Saunders on the run, takes it at the 16. And Saunders is across the 40 and finally tackled at the 47-yard line by A.J. Klein. A 43-yard punt and then a 31-yard return by Jalen Saunders. Not the start Sean Payton had in mind. 2 turnovers leading to 10 Carolina points. Only 6 plays run by the Saints to this point.
Would not have expected anything like that from this Saints team. We talked at the top. They controlled their own destiny. It's been a crazy year in the NFC South division, but the New Orleans Saints sit at 5-7. If they win out, they win the division. They host that home playoff game with everything on the line like that. To see them come out and play this type of game at the beginning is shocking.
And how about Carolina? A win today would get them to 4 on the season. Saints have 5, Atlanta with 5, Falcons and Green Bay tomorrow. Breeze over the middle to the Carolina 40-yard line. It's Nick Toon, his 6th reception of the season. Gain of 13 and the Saints first down.
I don't think he gets enough credit for his ball handling skills at the quarterback position. Does a lot of things. You just do all the details, the attention to detail by Drew Brees, and just his fundamentals from the quarterback position are some of the things that he focuses on, and it's readily apparent during the course of the game.
Saints pick up their first down of the game. Off the fake, Brees with time. Brees throws over the middle. It's Ingram. And Mark Ingram has another Saints first down to the Carolina 29. Finally tackled by Thomas Davis. And now they will spot it back at the 31, so it'll be second and short. Final minute, first quarter here in New Orleans.
Mike, 5'8", 5'8".
Brees pointing out the mic. Thomas Davis, 58. This is Ingram, who fumbled earlier, and now he has a first down to the Carolina 27 as time winds down in this first quarter with the Saints on the move following the big punt return. Longest of the season for the Saints, going up against the Panthers, who have the worst kickoff and punt coverage in the league. So special teams setting up field position for the Saints on this drive. But they trail after one by the score of 17-0. So fireworks early following the Newton touchdown. The first quarter number is one-sided. 2 takeaways for the Panthers, leading to 10 points. 17-0 Carolina lead after the Panthers had scored only 30 first quarter points all season. On the toss, it is Ingram. And Ingram gains one down to the 26-yard line as we begin the second quarter here in New Orleans.
Yeah, but New Orleans is one of those teams that you can never feel comfortable with a lead. They have the ability to come back from any deficit. Drew Brees, a tremendous competitor. So right now, Carolina, tremendous start, but that's just one of the 4 quarters that you have to play here today against Sean Payton and this team. In this environment, if they can get this crowd back into it, they've done a tremendous job taking them out.
Here's Pierre Thomas up the middle. And the Saints are such a quick strike offense. They're second in the league in total yards behind Indianapolis. They average 27 points per game, so this one not over by any means.
No.
Well, whoever we talked to on the Carolina Panthers, whether it was Roman Harper or Ron Rivera, Greg Olson, they all came out and said the same thing. We need to get off to a fast start. This is not a team that they all feel can come from behind. So this is exactly where they want to be. They want to be up in points. They want to feel good about themselves. 17-0, play a little defense. It stays right in exactly their game plan for this particular team.
Now 3rd down and 7, and a timeout is taken by Carolina. It is their second. So Drew Brees will head over for a chat with head coach Sean Payton. Well, this week Fox brings you the biggest fight card in broadcast television history, with Junior Dos Santos taking on Stipe Miocic, plus Rafael Dos Anjos battling Nate Diaz, and a whole lot more. A 2-night UFC event begins Friday with the Ultimate Fighter finale on Fox Sports 1 and continues Saturday with UFC Fight Night on Fox. Well, these teams went at it back in the first quarter following the Cam Newton touchdown. Brandon Williams of the Panthers ejected. Curtis Lofton assessed a personal foul. These teams know each other well. NFC South rivals. 3rd down and 7 for the Saints. Brees throws, and the catch is made by Jimmy Graham, who did not have a reception last week. There is a flag. Nice tackle made by Thomas Davis, shy of the marker.
Yeah, good job, because he's outflanked Thomas Davis on the release.
Number 24, defense, lined up in the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
So Josh Norman, the guilty Panther. Graham not even targeted last week. He's had some shoulder issues as of late.
But what a big penalty on Josh Norman right there. You've got Jimmy Graham short of the first down. You're going to force Sean Payton into a tough decision. Do you take the field goal in the 3? Do you go for it on 4th? They're going to get another shot right here because of that penalty.
So Graham loses the reception. 3rd down and 2 following the penalty. And now Breeze has his pass batted back. So the Saints unable to convert on 3rd down and will send out the field goal unit.
That's a huge play right there. Defensive line going, getting the pass rush. Eyes in the backfield. Get your hands up. Tip a ball down.
Antoine Edwards, 92, getting a piece of it. So now the Saints will set up for a 37-yard attempt. The former Panther Shane Graham, he's never missed indoors from under 40. 41 for 41 in his career from the left hash. And Graham's kick is just inside the upright. So the Saints are on the board, trail by 14.
Game on Fox is sponsored by Canon, by Chevrolet, find new roads, and by Citizen Echo Drive, powered by light. Any light never needs a battery. Citizen.
Port of New Orleans on the Mississippi. Panthers with a 17-3 lead on the Saints following the 37-yard Graham field goal. So Carolina amazingly still alive with a record of 3-8-1. As we said in our open, who wants to win the division? It's up for grabs.
Well, we thought the Saints did after that impressive victory in Pittsburgh last week, and just shocked to see them come back here at home and stumble out of the gate the way they have today.
Atlanta, like the Saints, with a record of 5-7. They have the tiebreaker because they beat New Orleans back in week 1. Falcons at Lambeau tomorrow night. So with a win today, Panthers would be right there. Goose said the Panthers must get off to a quick start. And they did. With 17 first quarter points. Cam Newton and the Panthers start from their 20. On first down, the handoff to Stewart, who gains 3.
And now you just settle right back into that style that you're very, very comfortable with as an offense. You start getting into the zone read schemes, some of their power run games, some play action.
Ground and pound, and work the clock.
Second down and 7. It's Stewart again, and he picks up a Carolina first down.
And they're doing a great job with this concept right now. It's been really, really impressive. We're just getting that running lane right there, block down, bounce back out. That's Mike Remmers. That is well done. You're helping your double team down, and then you're bouncing back out. You created the seam.
Gain of 14 for Jonathan Stewart. Newton has it on the keeper. Newton down to the 40-yard line. John Jenkins brought him down. Gain of 3.
Watch the ride on the running back. Cam Newton is not making it easy. That's a long time in that ride situation before he makes that decision to pull.
Second down and 7. Tolbert in the backfield. Play clock now at 5. This is Tolbert. Tolbert out to the 45-yard line. He picks up 5, setting up 3rd down and 2. Ramon Humber on the tackle.
One of the things that Sean Payton talked to us about, we're going to have to be good against the run game. You know, Carolina will throw a lot of different things at us in their offense and that rushing attack, and our defense has got to be ready and prepared for all of them. You got to give the advantage right now to Carolina. That offensive line, we've talked about them, the shakeups during the course of the season. The first time in a long time they've had 2 starting fives back-to-back. They're off to a great start this afternoon.
Play clock is at 2. Panthers get the snap away. And Newton's pass this time could not be handled by the fullback Tolbert.
And one of the things we talked to Ron Rivera about was margin for error. When you're in the situation that they're in and you're having some losses and just out of sync, we saw Cam Newton miss Jericho Cotchery early in the game, and here's Mike Tolbert with an opportunity to get a first down here. He's got to make that catch, convert, get another set of downs. We saw him with a tremendously athletic catch to start the game.
Nortman to punt for the second time. Saunders had that 30-yard return earlier. End-over-end kick. Taken out to 13 by Saunders. Cuts to the outside. And Jalen Saunders with another big return up the sideline. Finally dragged out of bounds at the 45-yard line. 32-yard return this time by Saunders. New Orleans Saints turned the ball over on their first 2 possessions. Ingram had it knocked loose. And then Breeze on the second New Orleans possession picked off by Ben Wickery. 2 turnovers on their first 3 plays, and Carolina turned those miscues into 10 points. But now following another terrific punt return by Saunders, Saints start at their 45-yard line. They empty the backfield. Breeze on first down. It is complete. Taking it into Carolina territory for a gain of 7 is Kenny Stills.
And that's one of the big things that's been an issue for Carolina. You mentioned, Kenny, they're last in punt coverage and kickoff coverage. And on that last punt, I mean, their lane integrity is so poor. They're moving to the ball. The widest guy is not maintaining his lane and keeping that returner on his inside shoulder. They're allowing that punt to get out on the edge the second consecutive time this game.
More yards on the 2 punt returns today than the Saints had all season coming into this game. There is a flag. Pass intended for Marcus Colston. False start, says Walt Coleman.
Illegal formation, number 72, offense. He was in man on the line of scrimmage. 5-yard penalty, still second down.
That's Teron Armstead. So the ball spotted back at the 47-yard line. It will be second down and 8.
Teron actually jogged off the field on that play, so Bryce Harris in at left tackle for the Saints.
Harris, number 79.
52, Miami. Ready, the set.
Breeze on second down, steps up and takes off. Back into Carolina territory. 2 yards shy of the marker.
He tried to stay in the pocket as long as he can, Drew Brees, but they collapsed right around him. He saw a little bit of a crease. And that's what you have to do as a quarterback, especially when you don't have the height to go and see over everybody. All of a sudden, those guys get really close. It's hard to find your receivers downfield. You just got to go and protect that ball a little bit.
Breeze listed as 6 feet tall, Tony, but you told me he's 5'11", right?
5'11 and a half.
Now on 3rd down and 2. Breeze complete to Kenny Stills for a first down. For the Carolina 44.
Trying to get that rhythm established. It has been so hard with the turnovers and the inconsistency. Have been able to establish any type of rhythm. Getting into it right here just a little bit. We'll see if the Saints offense can continue that. You look at the week by Kenny Stills against Pittsburgh.
5-8, ready.
Tremendous day last weekend.
Career high 162 yards, and now Ingram finds a hole and picks up another Saints first down to the Carolina 29. Mark Ingram gains 16.
And again, just the ball fakes, the play action, and the sell by Drew Brees. You're going to pull this guy in, and then he's going to actually follow around. He's going to widen that, and it makes it real easy for Mark Ingram to get back up inside that. You don't even have to block the defensive end there just because of the play action by Drew Brees.
Biggest play of the day for the Saints on offense. 16-yard run by Ingram. Now Breeze complete. It's Nick Toon, his second catch, and is met at the 23-yard line by Van Wickery, gain of 6. Bryce Harris still in at left tackle. Teron Armstead chatting with the Saints medical staff on the sidelines. 8 minutes remaining, second quarter. Saints send in the fullback Eric Lorig, second down and 4. And it's Lorig who makes the catch. But he is met immediately by the NFL's leading tackler, Luke Kuechly. Lorig makes his 8th reception of the season. Kuechly now in his 3rd year. NFL Defensive Player of the Year a season ago.
Yeah, an opportunity to surpass Patrick Willis with the most tackles your first 3 years in the NFL, and probably one of the greatest compliments somebody can pay to you. Sean Payton said about Luke Kuechly, he can cross generations. He could have played in different eras of the NFL. That's high praise for a player.
Saints empty the backfield, 3rd down and 4. As Breeze saw pressure, forced to get rid of it. It was Thomas Davis coming up the middle, and the tight end Josh Hill unable to make the catch.
Well, the timing gets thrown off a little bit. The ball's, I don't know if it was tipped or deflected, but you still got to concentrate all the way in. Just, wait for it. You could see Josh Hill, he took his eyes off it right as the ball arrived.
There's Roman Harper right there. You see him. You ain't going to fool him on those screens. He's seen him for many years playing here in New Orleans.
Coming back as a visiting player, Goose, for the first time. 42-yard attempt for Graham. And he hooks this one to the left. Connected from 37 earlier. No good from 42.
Game is sponsored by Pizza Hut. We're taking pizza where it's never been before.
The New Orleans Saints have lost their last 3 here at home to San Francisco, Cincinnati, and Baltimore. They trail 17-3 today. Cam Newton, 105 yards in the air and a touchdown pass. Also the leading rusher for Carolina today. In the absence of D'Angelo Williams. Panthers scored on their first 3 drives. Newton and the Carolina offense back to work. Newton fires downfield. Benjamin, the intended receiver, no flags. The rookie out of Jacksonville State, Pierre Warren, defending.
I think he had him a little bit earlier on that play. Kelvin Benjamin was actually open as he crosses into the middle of the field, and you're a little bit late. It gives Pierre Warren the opportunity to come down and contest that throw.
Warren making his 3rd consecutive start. Saints, of course, without the 3-time Pro Bowler Jarris Byrd, who was brought in prior to the season. They lost a couple of terrific players in the secondary, and Malcolm Jenkins and Roman Harper now with Carolina. Jonathan Stewart down to the 38, gain of 6.
One of the impressive things that Carolina has been able to do today, they've been able to be aggressive on first down with their passing game. And then when they've gotten into the 2nd and 10s, they've been able to be very productive and get back into a 3rd and manageable situation.
Ron Rivera's Panthers 2 for 5 today on 3rd down. Panthers must get to the 42.
I think Ron Rivera saw something he didn't like. He called timeout on the sideline.
And that will be the 3rd and final timeout taken by Carolina, which means over the next 4 minutes, 14 seconds prior to the 2-minute warning, Ron Rivera will not be able to challenge a play if he needs to without a timeout.
Well, I think it just shows that how important every single snap is for the Carolina Panthers. This is an offense, when you talk about the Saints, that can come back from anything. And they had an opportunity on that last series to really get back into this game. Credit the Carolina defense, the missed field goal by Shane Graham. So now all of a sudden you come back out. This is a big possession right here. So you come out on a critical 3rd down, and you're going up against a defense that struggles mightily on 3rd downs. And if it doesn't look right, I don't mind that timeout right there. I know the implications of not being able to challenge down the stretch, but let's go one play at a time. I didn't like the way that looked. Let's make sure we give ourselves an opportunity to convert here.
Fans on their feet in New Orleans. 3rd down and 4 for Carolina. Panthers must get to the 42 as Newton fires, and they will pick up the first down. It's Brenton Burson out of Wofford University, needed 4 and gained 9.
There was a lot of stuff going on there to challenge that Saints defense. We saw 2 offensive players cross formation, and then it just comes back to a simple one-on-one on the outside.
Burson, first NFL player to come out of Wofford since his boss, Jerry Richardson, the owner of the Carolina Panthers. Newton with time on first down to the outside. It's Olsen. Greg Olsen to the 45-yard line, gain of 8.
And Greg Olsen is just, in my opinion, he's one of the guys you have to have on your team. We saw him earlier in the first half in a situation in the red zone. Something's not right. Cam Newton's changing the play at the line of scrimmage, loses track of the play clock, and you've got Greg Olsen to get you the timeout, to give you an opportunity to convert. He's one of those players who's just very cognizant of everything that's going on the field, and then you add to that his production at the tight end spot, and he's one of those key guys in a locker room and definitely on an offensive unit.
4 receptions today, 65 on the season for Olsen, as Stewart takes it up the middle. And you talk about the tight ends around the NFL, most receiving yards over the last 3 seasons. First 2 in our game today, Graham and Olsen.
Yeah, and that's some pretty nice company right there when you look at those 5 tight ends and Greg Olsen at the number 2 slot right there. I bet you that surprises a lot of people that he's ahead of Jason Witten.
And never been to a Pro Bowl, right?
Never been to a Pro Bowl. Tough in the NFC. Tough in the NFC. A lot of really good tight ends.
They have Witten and Vernon Davis, Tony Gonzalez for many years in Atlanta. Newton on 3rd and short. And Cam Newton able to pick up the first down. 4.5 remaining. Second quarter here in New Orleans, with the Panthers leading the Saints 17-3. Carolina taking advantage of 2 early Saints turnovers. Saints with only 4 first downs in the game. Now the Saints use a timeout, their first. Tonight on Fox Sports Live, don't miss an inspiring special feature as Tiger Woods meets a very special 3-year-old and the most unlikely of golfers. He's not only inspiring Tiger, but redefining what it means to be disabled. Fox Sports Live tonight, 11 Eastern on Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. There is number 1. Cam Newton, who has had a terrific first half. He's 11 of 17, 122 yards and a touchdown pass. He's also gained 55 yards on the ground, scored a touchdown on a dive over the top, which gave his Panthers a 17-0 lead.
Yeah, but that's the guy you have to be concerned with right there. An uncharacteristic half for the New Orleans Saints, especially with everything on the line. Surprised to see how this game has unfolded, but you can never rest. Breeze and Graham together, and then you add what Kenny Stills did last week. It's an explosive offense. Cam Newton's got to keep his guys focused the whole game.
From the 42, the stunner step by Stewart, and he's able to gain 8 down to the 34-yard line. Newton now in his 4th season. Panthers won the division at 12-4 last year. Remember, he missed the OTAs much of the offseason, except for the ankle injury, then the fractured rib. Did not start in the Week 1 game down in Tampa Bay. On 2nd and 2, Stewart out of the backfield.
And what that really did is it really set Cam Newton back when you talk about a team that really overhauled their wide receiver position.
Junior Gillette down. Gillette with 7 sacks on the season. Junior Gillette of the Saints injured on the previous play. Panthers now facing a 3rd down and 6. Panthers must Let's get to the 32. Newton takes off, and it'll pick up a first down and more. Cam Newton down to the Saints 25-yard line as he signals first down. Newton able to gain 13.
Look at all the guys that were right here, and you've got this design. They're going to run a little quarterback draw, and you see how well it's blocked. Andrew Norwell just drives Curtis Lofton down the field, and that opens up everything to the left side. Looked like they were going to be running that right into a blitz. Good understanding of what that play was designed to do.
Fourth time Newton has picked up a first down with his legs today. This is Tolbert, looks to bounce it to the outside, and he dives forward for a yard.
I want to get back into that leadership discussion we had with Cam Newton before Junior Gillette got hurt. He has an opportunity this season right now to really assert himself as the guy on the offense. Steve Smith was a dominant personality. They parted ways with him in the offseason. This is a young team, young in the offensive line, young in the wide receiver position that usually does have that dominant personality that becomes kind of the emotional spark for the team. Cam Newton, this season at the end, that should be his #1 goal, to become the #1 leader on this offense.
Newton's pass is caught by Greg Olsen. Takes it down to the 16-yard line. Curtis Lofton slow to get up. And now the Saints will use their second timeout following the injury suffered by Lofton.
At the end of the play, he has his hand on the helmet, and then Kenny Vaccaro comes in and puts his helmet. And let me tell you how much that hurts. On the tips of your fingers, when you're the cushioning in between two helmets.
It's like hitting your hand with a sledgehammer.
Take your breath away.
That hurts.
Saints already lost Junior Gillette earlier on this drive, replaced by the rookie out of Boston College, Kasim Edebali. Carolina on this drive, 3 for 3 on third down.
3 for 3 right up the middle, too. If you're the New Orleans Saints right here, you got to, as a defensive lineman, you got to stay low, try to take out those offensive linemen and have your linebackers go and read everything over the top. You can't get pushed back in their way right here. Let's see what happens.
On 3rd and 1, off the fake to Stewart. Wide open in the end zone. It's Olsen for the Panthers touchdown.
Wow, did they sell that one?
Yep.
There was nobody downfield. Everybody came up to support the run.
Well, they beat you 3 times and against the run. You think they're going to come back to it.
You bring the wing. They had squeezed everybody up. There's the good run fake, and then Greg Olsen coming from the tight end spot. That's something you have to know as a secondary. It's 3rd and 1. The one thing you have to guard against. I mean, that's a play that every offense carries in 3rd and short, and that's a blown assignment by the New Orleans Saints right there.
6th touchdown reception of the season for Olsen, his first over the last 7 games. So the Carolina Panthers 4 for 4 on 3rd down on that drive. 12 plays, 68 yards. And this is the most points the Panthers have scored in a game since week 6. The tie in Cincinnati during their 6-game losing streak never scored more than 21 points. The crowd stunned here in New Orleans. Saints trail by 21. Well, NFL athletes grew up playing in communities all across America. Now through NFL Play 60, they're encouraging kids in neighborhoods everywhere to come out and play for 60 minutes a day. To learn how NFL stars played as kids and to find great play ideas, visit NFLrush.com/play60.
Did you have that park you remember as a kid growing up, Kenny?
I do. Yeah, one of the schoolyards, the elementary school.
Lions Park for me. Lions, and then I graduated to Faulkner Park when I got to be, 10, 11 years old.
How about you, Goose?
We didn't have no parks in our neighborhood. We just played on the street and the pavement, which was a little tough, but
Tough on the knees?
yeah, a little tough on the knees. A little tough.
Carolina Panthers 24 first half points. Cam Newton 2 touchdown passes, ran for another. As Cadet takes it out to the 25 with 2:08 remaining in the first half. The Saints have run only 19 plays. They've picked up 4 first downs. They had the ball for less than 10 minutes.
Well, I mean, just a huge transition on that last series, that last set of plays. Cam Newton brings his offense all the way down the field. They get the touchdown. New Orleans looked as though they were going to close it to 17-6, maybe 17-10.
That pass is nearly picked off by Ben Wickery, who had one earlier.
Well, you can see why they are high on Ben Wickery. I mean, he is very aggressive. The interception he had early in the game was a great play on the ball. There's another one right there.
5th round pick out of San Jose State. He missed 6 games due to an ankle injury. Returned last week against Minnesota, and the Panthers released the veteran Antoine Cason this week, who started 11 games at left corner. This is Jimmy Graham, his first reception in 6 quarters. And that 7-yard reception takes us to the 2-minute warning here in New Orleans. First place up for grabs in the South. Panthers by 21. Follow your favorite team all season long. Go to iTunes.com/NFL. Carolina Panthers lead the New Orleans Saints 24-3. Just under 2 minutes remaining. Second quarter. 3rd down and 2 for Drew Brees and the Saints. As that pass is broken up, it's Roman Harper, the longtime Saint, with the coverage on Jimmy Graham.
Yeah, but that's a tough throw because Drew Brees has got defenders bearing down on him. Charles Johnson goes back inside, and he's pressing up. And then from the opposite side, you've got Mario Addison coming in low.
If the Saints do not get the ball back in this half, they will match their fewest number of plays in a first half this season. 22 against Dallas back in week 4. Fair catch is called for by Burson. We head to Los Angeles. What's coming up on the Visa Halftime Report, Kurt?
Coming up on the Visa Halftime, I'll be joined by all these guys as the Steelers and Bengals lock up in a key AFC North battle, and the Ravens look to take a wild card spot from the Dolphins. We get you caught up on all the action coming up on the Visa Hack.
Hey, who's this good-looking guy?
Howie or Michael? Which one you talking about?
Did you ever think there were 2 Jimmys yelling at you out on the practice field?
No, we were always well aware there was only one Jimmy. There will always be only one Jimmy. Although sometimes the one that I see on television is nothing like the one that I played for.
There you go.
So maybe there is 2
Split personality, huh?
We look forward to hearing from the guys at halftime. Panthers back on offense from their own 26-yard line, leading by 21 as Stewart is tackled by David Hawthorne.
I don't know. I'd like to see Carolina right here stay aggressive. It seems like they're trying to slow the pace down here, maybe get in at halftime 24-3. You've had this New Orleans Saints defense on their heels the entire first half. I'd keep going. You can be conservative. It can be screens. It can be that zone read. Let's see if you can hit a big play and then build that momentum again. Give yourselves an opportunity for maybe a long field goal attempt.
Especially the way your defense is playing.
Norco Contry shifted into the backfield. Hand off to Stewart, and Jonathan Stewart picks up a first down and more. Out to the 43-yard line. Stewart gained 16.
Yeah, but with that pace of play, you just took a lot of time off the clock. And here you go. We talked about this. It's just a little zone read misdirection. Here you go. Greg Olson's out in front, kind of like a power play there. Jonathan Stewart gets a nice game, but you let about 40 seconds go off that clock that you didn't need to.
Down to 55 remaining. Panthers approaching 300 yards of offense in the first half alone. Across midfield into Saints territory, it's Philly Brown, his 3rd catch today. Remember, Carolina out of timeouts. 290 total yards, 84 for the Saints. Olsen unable to make the catch.
Well, we're inside 2 minutes, so it'll go up to booth review. Let's see what Greg Olson did out here.
He was happy. I'm standing right over here next to him. He was happy to go and know that's inside 2 minutes, so it will be reviewed. He says, I got that ball.
Yeah, it was ruled an incompletion.
Definitely looked like he got that left hand underneath the ball, popped it up.
Wait and see if the replay booth buzzes down to Walt Coleman. And they have.
Watch that left arm, or the left hand. He's got it underneath, pops it back up onto his chest. And then the presence to get to the sideline and get out of bounds, too.
You saw the head linesman, Jerry Bergman, signal incomplete pass. But it certainly did not look on the replays that we saw like it hit the ground. We'll welcome in Mike Pereira from Los Angeles once again. Mike, was it a reception in your mind?
You know, I think it is, and you got to be aware of what this means if they reverse it to a catch. And it means that then the clock would restart after they put the ball ready for play, and Carolina's out of timeouts. But to me, the hand is under the ball. I think it's pretty clear. And so if they reverse it to a catch, then again, they'll probably let Carolina get set up for the next snap before they start the clock. But again, they don't have any timeouts left, so the clock is an issue.
And it would be a first down, thanks Mike, at the 41 if it is ruled a catch. If the call on the field stands, it will be 3rd and 1 from the 48.
Great point by Mike Pereira, that we talked about that last timeout called by Ron Rivera to stop the clock. And well, now they're out. They can't challenge down the stretch here in the first half. So that point of, okay, it's a catch, but they're going to have to be ready for play. Hopefully everybody on Carolina knows that. They don't waste some precious seconds getting to the line of scrimmage.
Here comes Walt Coleman.
After reviewing the play, the ruling is reversed. It is completed catch. First down at the 42-yard line. Due to going from a stop to a running clock, we will take 10 seconds off the clock. Please reset the game clock to 19 seconds, please. 19 seconds.
Olson saying, what are you talking about? I reached towards the sideline. But the clock will be reset. And the ball's supposed to be spotted at the 42. They've spotted the ball at the 39. That's a 3-yard differential as we head back to Mike Pereira. Mike.
Clearly, he's right about the 10-second runoff. Since the pass was completed inbounds and the clock would have continued to run, since they ruled it incomplete, the 10 seconds allowance, a 10-second runoff was put in, so the offense would not really gain an advantage of a stop clock that should have been remained running if the ruling on the field was correct. We put that rule in about 4 years ago, and of course we know now that there's no timeouts left for Carolina, so they can't buy the 10-second back. That's the deal there. So clock still will start on the ready for play, but they can't buy back those 10 seconds.
Mike, what about the fact that he reached the sideline to stop the clock?
Now, but remember, they ruled it incomplete at that spot.
Okay.
So anything that happened after that's irrelevant.
All right, thanks, Mike. And they have respotted the ball back at the 42. It was initially placed at the 39. Following the spike, 1 second ran off the clock.
Well, Dal, you said it about it earlier. I mean, they were not using the clock to their advantage. They had the momentum. They had everything. Now, right here, they're starving for some time. I mean, they can get in field goal range very easily the way they're moving the ball.
Here's Newton on second down. Firing downfield, waiting for Philly Brown. No flags. Keenan Lewis defending.
Yeah, incidental contact. Feet got tangled up. concern for New Orleans. Looks like Keenan Lewis, he's still down on one knee in the end zone. So on the outside, Philly Brown versus Keenan Lewis. You see the feet get tangled up right there. But right now, Keenan Lewis is still down. Hopefully just tying his shoe back there in the end zone.
Now 3rd down and 10 from the 12.
Timeout called, guys.
Timeout taken by New Orleans. Going back to that first down play, Darryl, why do you think Cam Newton spiked the ball? Because the clock was not running once they reset it to 19.
Maybe some confusion at that point on what was going on in that situation. It was a confusing set of circumstances right there. The big thing, you saw Greg Olsen saying, well, I tried to stretch to get the ball out of bounds, and Mike Pereira clarified that because it was ruled incomplete, everything that happened after that point is irrelevant. So, with the 10-second runoff, they're going to roll that clock right away again.
Right, they set it to 19 and then snapped the ball at 19, and then he spiked it at 18. So there may have been some confusion because Walt Coleman initially announced it would be a running clock, but then it was not after it was reset to 19. So in any event, it is now 3rd down and 10 from the 42. Newton steps up. There is a flag heading for the sidelines with no timeouts remaining. And he gets out with 5 seconds on the game clock.
Holding, number 67, offense, 10-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
Again, I'm going to go back to the first play of this whole 2-minute situation where there was not really a sense of urgency at that time, and you let about 40 seconds go off the clock. So you put yourself in a position during the course of the drive to maybe have an opportunity for the field goal attempt. Now really all you have the opportunity to do is a throw into the end zone, and maybe Kelvin Benjamin can get up there and elevate and make a play for you. But Ron Rivera needed to be a little bit more aggressive at the start of this possession. You never know what's going to happen. Then all of a sudden, Jonathan Stewart rips off that big run, and now you get into it, but you've left 40 seconds off that clock.
So this should be the final play of the half, barring a defensive penalty. Panthers from their own 48. Newton with time. And now Newton fires downfield towards the end zone. It's deflected, and then Contry nearly had a chance. Knocked down by David Hawthorne. So the first half comes to an end with the Carolina Panthers leading the New Orleans Saints 24-3. One more look. There's Benjamin, number 13 in the middle, surrounded by 3 Saints. So the Saints, who have lost 3 straight here at home, down by 3 touchdowns at the half, as we send you to the Visa Halftime Report in Los Angeles with Kurt and the gang. Guys,
Let's give our fans what they came here to see today. Yep. Hey, you want to get noticed in this league? Just go up and play.
and the catch is made by Benjamin for a Carolina touchdown. Breeze fires downfield, and it is picked off. And Newton dives over the top for a Carolina touchdown. But his excitement is brought to you by Nissan. Cam Newton, terrific first half, 162 yards in the air, and his 68 rushing yards. Most of Newton's career in the first half. His Panthers lead by 3 touchdowns.
And you go back to that earlier matchup this season, you pointed it out, Kenny, that Cam Newton did not have a good day against the Saints in Week 9. Nice rebound this afternoon.
Saints will get the ball first here in the 3rd quarter. And they will start from their 20-yard line. Well, you heard Drew Brees a moment ago in the huddle before the game. He said, let's give the fans what they've come to see. Well, what they have seen over the first 30 minutes is a dominating performance by Carolina on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, unfortunately, what they've seen over the first 30 minutes is what they saw the 3 previous games here at home, which is just so confusing because this used to be such a difficult place to play. 8-0 last season here at home, so I'm surprised to see New Orleans come out and play the way they did in that first half with control of their destiny to try and win the NFC South.
Saints only 84 yards on offense in the first half. That pass intended for Pierre Thomas with Luke Kuechly on the coverage. Goose.
Hey, Kenny, got the chance to talk to both coaches. Ron Rivera, we need to keep Drew, keep him off his spot. That's part of our success there on defense. Also, he said we would need to go and can't get complacent We need to come out in the second half. We've got to have the same kind of results we had in the first half. We're exactly where we want to be, but we have to keep moving as a team. We just can't sit back and think that Drew Brees is going to sit back and not get this job done. Sean Payton, his quote was, "That was as bad a first half as I've ever seen and as we have ever played." We need to find some kind of rhythm, offensively and defensively. You know, when I asked him about Jimmy Graham, about getting him involved in the offense a little bit more, he says, "Goose, I'd love to get him involved. We just need plays. Right now, we're not on the field enough to get any kind of rhythm as far as coaches or players to get this going." So Ron Rivera is doing exactly what he wants to do, is keep Drew Brees off the field.
Interesting comment, Goose, from Sean Payton, saying it's the worst first half he's seen. It's his 8th year as head coach of the Saints. Now Brees on 3rd and 8. He took a hit as he got rid of the football. Grabbed the intended receiver. Saints go 3 and out.
Well, lucky that's into the middle of the field, and it is up high, so they're very fortunate that there wasn't a Carolina defender behind Jimmy Graham. And here's Drew Brees off his spot again. And that's exactly what they talked about doing. Coney Ely gets him off that spot. Pressure. You can see the effect it had on the throw to Jimmy Graham.
Morstead waiting back at his 10-yard line. 3rd punt today. Angled towards the sideline. Out of bounds. Right around the 37.
Well, Sean Payton talked about offensively and defensively. Defensively, they just haven't been able to get off the field. You see the thing from season to today, 75% red zone touchdown efficiency today. They were struggling that during the year. You look at the 3 and outs, the fewest 3 and outs all season. Again, 0 today. Takeaways, the 4th fewest during the course of the season. None there in the first half to offset the turnovers by the offense. And look at 3rd down. They were last in the NFL coming into the game today in 3rd down defense. They allowed Carolina to convert 60% of those 3rd downs. That's why Drew Brees is not on the field.
Including 4 for 4 on 3rd down on that last scoring drive by Carolina. There was a late flag at the end of the punt, so it's a hold against Carolina. 10 yards marked off, so the Panthers will start at their 31-yard line with a 24-3 lead. Carolina, amazingly, with a record of 3-8-1. With a win today, would be just 1 back in the win column in the division with 3 games remaining. New Orleans 5-7, Atlanta 5-7. Falcons visit the Packers tomorrow night. And Carolina will travel to Atlanta on the final Sunday of the regular season, and Stewart breaks free. And Jonathan Stewart is inside the 20, the 10, touchdown. He takes it all the way 69 yards.
This is just terrible run defense, because I've seen that play 3 times today, and I knew that it was going to be a handoff to Jonathan Stewart. It's the same play every time. Now on this one, he's going to do a little bit different. He's going to wrap it around, but that's just terrible run defense. And when we talked to the Saints defenders, we talked to Cam Jordan, we talked to Rob Ryan and said, what do you think about the zone read, the option element in this offense of Carolina? He said, we've got it covered. We feel good about the rules. Well, that little cutback lane right there, I mean, Jonathan Stewart is in the end zone 7 yards downfield because there's nobody from New Orleans that's going to catch him.
Career long run for the 6-year vet Stewart. Gano the extra point. There is a flag.
Holding, number 53, kicking team. 10-yard penalty, retry.
That's on Ben Jacobs. So the Panthers will set up for the extra point once again. So without D'Angelo Williams today, the all-time leading rusher in franchise history, the Panthers have picked up 212 yards on the ground. 134 for Stewart, 68 for Cam Newton.
212 yards on the ground, one play into the second half.
1 minute.
And remember what Cam Newton told us. He said, despite playing the Saints, who could put up a lot of points, don't stray from who you are. Stick to what we do. Panthers have done exactly that this afternoon.
Team is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. By Ford. Beautiful things happen when you go further. By Burger King. Mix and match 2 large premium sandwiches for just $5 only at Burger King. And by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
So which team hasn't won a game in 63 days?
Yeah, I mean, this should just status quo for the NFC South, right? I mean, this division has been so topsy-turvy all season long. I'm absolutely blown away that Sean Payton and his team have come out and just played, as he pointed out, the worst half of football that he's seen his team play since he's been the head coach, and they follow it up at the start of the second half, not changing anything.
The Saints turn the ball over on their first 2 possessions, and they've gone downhill from there as Drew Brees and the New Orleans offense head back out. Saints running only 22 plays in the first half. Brees throwing for 55 yards. Ingram just 23 on the ground. So the Saints, who have not lost 4 straight home games in a season since 2005, now trail by 28 as Kuechly finally brings down Ingram after a gain of 11.
And unfortunately, it's going to be very difficult to stick with that running game down by 28 in this situation. You don't want to panic, but there also has to be a sense of urgency and the ability to create a couple of explosive plays here offensively for the Saints.
And that hurts the passing game because that's exactly what they do, this New Orleans team. They run the ball, they establish the run, and then they go hit you with the play action to get the big plays downfield for the big chunks.
First and 10, 31-yard line off the fake to Ingram. Brees able to get rid of it. And it's Lauren, the fullback. He's tackled by A.J. Klein. Brees about to be brought down, able to find his fullback.
And again, you just got 4 defensive linemen bringing the pressure. And they're just continuing to work. You see Charles Johnson, he's pushed beyond the pocket by Bryce Harris, and yet he continues to battle and is able to impact that decision, that quality time in the pocket for Drew Brees.
Brees on 2nd and 10. Fires to the outside. It's Colston. So Marcus Colston with his 2nd catch today, number 650 of his career, as he extends as the Saints' all-time leading receiver, now 650 career receptions for the former 7th-round pick out of Hofstra. Gain 9 on the play. So it will be 3rd down and 1. Morgan in motion. Here is Ingram. And he does not look like he made it.
Well, we sat down, we talked to Mark Ingram about that last game. He had 100 yards against the Panthers, but he told us it was hard-earned. He goes, I had a big run early in that game, but after that, it was a physical game. Those were all tough yards, and it's kind of the same situation today. And here go the Saints rolling the dice on 4th down.
Got him. I just don't like that play call. I don't like having all the receivers in, bringing everybody inside. I would have liked to see a spread and then run the ball. Give Ingram a little bit of an opportunity to go and find a seam.
On 4th down, the toss, it's Ingram, and he picks up a first.
That's the play we saw on Friday, Darryl, for the goal line, right?
They had a little bit of jet motion with that one. This is out of your standard personnel with the 2 tights, the fullback, running back. You run that little belly and then get the quick pitch out. You get that flow back to the inside.
Give your running back a little bit of an opportunity to get on that edge.
Thomas in for Ingram from the 45. That pass could not be handled by the tight end Benjamin Watson.
And we've had a lot of drops today. Probably 4th drop pass in the game today, number 82, Benjamin Watson, coming off that little wing right there. He is wide open in the middle of the field. And you're going to get hit. You know, Trey Boston's still going to hit you whether you catch it or not. Might as well make that catch.
Now 2nd and 10, Saints send in Kyrie Robinson in the backfield. He's missed the last 6 games with an arm injury. As Breeze fires downfield, he was looking for Watson. No flags. It's Roman Harper, 8 years, a member of the Saints, won a Super Bowl here in New Orleans. Harper on the coverage.
Yeah, just a savvy veteran player. We'll see if he was there a little bit early. Fans here not happy with that call. He's going to drop down in.
Roman Harper so excited to come back, play in the Dome. He's been hearing from friends in New Orleans all week long. He said, told us yesterday, people have been telling me all week, just don't hit Drew too hard.
I like how he said it's going to be strange when he's out there, how quiet it's going to be.
That's right. There's Breeze on 3rd and 10, looking for Morgan, but the pass is off the mark. Out of bounds. Breeze just 2 for 7 here in the second half, and now the Saints will punt it away.
Off the spot again, Darryl.
Yeah, off the spot, and then, you know, not even really talking about rhythm. We talked rhythm first half, now just out of sync. You know, he is off the spot, and we see him do this back shoulder throw time and time again, and it's not in sync on the outside, and I haven't seen the Saints offense struggle like this in a long time.
Their catch called for at the 13-yard line by Person. A frustrating Sunday afternoon for Drew Brees and the Saints. 31-3 Carolina. Early third quarter, Kenny Albert, Darryl Johnston, Tony Siragusa in New Orleans. Cam Newton and the Panthers offense back to work from their own 14-yard line. Newton loses the football, scoops it back up, and makes something out of nothing. He'll pick up positive yardage close to a first down as he slides. He'll be ruled down shy of the marker.
Who says Cam Newton couldn't slide, Darryl? That was pretty good, that one.
Yeah, but you know what? This is bad news for the Saints right here, because when we talked to Greg Olsen, when we talked to Roman Harper, they said, you know what? We're just having bad things happen at the wrong time. You know, every time we think we're going to put ourselves in a position to make a play, we don't. The things that we did last year, we can't do this year. Well, there's a situation right there for something bad to happen, and Cam Newton scoops it up and makes a positive play out of that. So, good sign for the Panthers right there that maybe the luck has finally turned for them after these last 6 games. Newton gained 8. He had a couple of 20-plus runs in the first half, has 76 yards on the ground today. He's got the football and dives forward for a first down. Well, somebody has to win this division. The New Orleans Saints with 5 wins. Atlanta 5-7 as well, and Carolina with a victory today, Darryl, would go to 4-8-1. It just continues to get jumbled up the further we move into the season. And really, I thought Sean Payton and his group, after that big win at Pittsburgh, and you're coming home and you've got Carolina who's reeling, you know, divisional opponent, we understand those matchups, but a great opportunity for the Saints today, and Carolina had just taken it to them. Newton on first down, hands it off to Jonathan Stewart, who gains 4 as we head to Los Angeles for a game break with Kurt.
Well, guys, try figuring out Indianapolis. Andrew Luck picked off by Justin Gilbert. Second defensive touchdown of the day by the Browns. The first was on a Luck fumble in the end zone for a touchdown. And right now, Cleveland's up 21-10, mostly because of their defense. Kenny, loose and goose.
All right, thanks, Kurt. Andrew Luck, who finished second in Heisman voting to Cam Newton back in 2010.
But we saw Andrew Luck last week, and he had 2 turnovers in his first 2 possessions. Sack, fumble, and an interception to start the game last week.
Same thing that happened to Drew Brees today. As the catch is made out at the 43-yard line for a first down. 8th reception of the day for Greg Olsen. And he gains 14.
Anything close to Greg Olsen, he gets it. Here he is right here, just a nice little seam route. He's a tough guy. Thrown at 8 times, caught all 8 passes.
His career high in a game is 9 goose. Just 1 shy. Son of a very successful long-time high school coach in New Jersey. First and 10 from the 43. It's Newton diving up the middle. Now, Kurt told us about the Browns leading the Colts.
Cam got hurt on that one, guys.
Yep. Newton remains down. Here he comes. Oof. Smiling as he gets back up.
That's the one thing about, running the ball over and over again. Cam Newton's a big guy, but those linebackers, they can hit. He cuts back inside. There's blood on his right knee of his pants. Don't know if it's his or somebody else's, but he's taking this game over, putting it all in his hands.
Kenny Vaccaro with that hit on Cam Newton. Play clock winding down. Panthers get the snap away as Newton hands it off to Stewart. And Stewart is across midfield to the New Orleans 48-yard line.
Well, I really like this play because it's that zone read, but you're adding Greg Olsen as an element, so it kind of has the feel of a traditional run power. Watch 88 come into the screen now. There he goes, crossing the formation. You can see him eyeing up the block, secures the edge a little bit there, and then picks up the scraping linebacker. So it's an extra blocker to the outside. So real nice little added dimension to that zone read scheme.
Third down and 2. Just under 7 minutes remaining. Third quarter. And it's Olsen again, but he stops shy. Patrick Robinson along with Kenny Vaccaro. Olsen with his 9th reception, which ties his career best, but the Panthers will punt it away.
You always have to push that route to the first down marker when you're in that short yardage situation and you're trying to get that flat route done. You've got to push that. You've got to get across that defender, get the necessary yardage, because if you do get hit immediately, you want to just be able to have that catch secured and have the yards for the first down.
Jalen Saunders has had a couple of big returns for the Saints today. Movement prior to the snap.
Neutral zone infraction, defense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Wow. So the Carolina offense will head back onto the field.
If it could go wrong, it has gone wrong for them.
Their special teams coach, Greg McMahon. So Carolina will maintain possession.
We haven't stopped them very often on third down during the course of the afternoon, and the Saints defense finally gets off the field and special teams lets them down.
Division winners a year ago at 12-4. Panthers actually won their first 2 games this season. One of those without Cam Newton. Derek Anderson started against Tampa Bay. They were 3-2. Then they tied Cincinnati, so 3-2-1 following that tie on October 12th. But they have lost their last 6 games. Huge turnaround today. And amazingly still in the divisional race in the NFC South. Off the fake to Stewart. Newton moving to his left. And Newton will head for the sidelines. He's pushed and a flag. Cameron Jordan, remember he and Newton were in each other's faces earlier prior to that big altercation in the end zone, and Jordan pushing Newton after he crossed the sideline.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, 91, late hit out of bounds. 15 yards from the end of the run, first down.
That's the 4th personal foul today.
I think you're right. That goes all the way back to the beginning of the game, and let's see where he is. He's still in the field of play. By definition, he has to be out in the white. He's actually in the field of play. So this is just one of those situations where it looked a lot worse than it is, but I don't agree with that call right there, because Cam Newton is out of the pocket. He's a runner. He doesn't have the protection he has anymore. Exactly. He's too dangerous. He could stop and cut back inside. So I don't agree with that call. I think it goes all the way back to that emotional thing we had early in the game when everything blew up, because it was Cam Jordan and Cam Newton at the crux to that.
I agree. It looked worse at first glance. Now on the screen, it's Fozzie Whitaker. And Whitaker is inside the 10, the 5, dives for the end zone. Touchdown.
You know, we really have to pay off the offensive line of the Carolina Panthers today. They have been outstanding. They finally got everybody together. And watch them get out on the screenplay to Fozzie Whitaker. There's going to be 2 great blocks on the screen. Look at that downfield. You can get back inside. And again, there's nobody there as a Saints defender to stop these plays.
Sean Payton said it was the worst first half his team has ever played. Could be the worst 3 quarters. I mean, there's 5 minutes left, but man.
Oh, it is. Well, it is. I don't care what they do from this point on.
Yeah,
it's a lot of different things. It's not just your execution, rhythm, and things like that. The emotion.
Yeah, they
right now
themselves in a lot of things. At offsides, not smart football at all.
And the penalty when they were lined up to punt. Panthers were lined up to punt and gave Carolina first down. And the personal foul call on Jordan, although it was close. The extra point is good. So here's Newton heading for the sidelines. Jordan the shove. He was flagged 15 yards, and then Whitaker dives just inside the pylon.
Today's Game on Fox is sponsored by K Jewelers. Every kiss begins with K.
Season high 38 points for the Carolina Panthers. 9-play, 86-yard drive. 2 key penalties. The offsides when the Panthers were set up to punt, and then the personal foul call on Cameron Jordan. So the Saints get the ball back, trailing by 35. It's not a selfie, but Cam Newton snapping a photo, a day he'd like to remember. Largest home deficit for the Saints since September of 2003. Peyton Manning coming back to his hometown. Actually had a 42-point lead in that game over Jim Haslett's Saints. This is the largest deficit for Sean Payton as Saints head coach anywhere, home or away, as that pass bounces off the chest of Jimmy Graham and the boos rain down. Payton back in September of 07 in Indianapolis, trailed by 31. So today the largest deficit since Payton took over the Saints.
You can't have rhythm. You can't get into sync offensively if you can't make plays. And again, that's, I think, drop number 4, drop number 5 for the New Orleans Saints on the outside. Jimmy Graham, I mean, how many times have we seen him make that catch? It's simple. It's just whatever it is today, it's spreading throughout this team.
Only 1 catch today, none last week in Pittsburgh in the win. Now Breeze on 2nd and 10. Down he goes. First sack of the game on either side as Breeze is taken down at the 18-yard line.
Collapse in the pocket again, Darryl.
Just the 4 guys, too, Tony. So you got 7 guys back in coverage, and Drew Brees has nowhere to go, and that offensive line protection is breaking down.
Second sack of the season for K'Wan Short.
Yeah, K'Wan Short and Charles Johnson run a little bit of a game on the outside, tackle end game, and comes free and did exactly what they wanted to do and knocking Drew off his spot.
Now Breeze firing downfield, looking for Morgan on 3rd and 12, and the pass is broken up by the rookie out of North Carolina, Trey Boston, the 4th-round pick. So the Saints, trailing by 35, will punt it back to the Panthers.
I sat down and talked to Roman Harper, and he said, you know what, we're getting confidence. We've played well over the last 4 or 5 games, and you know we got to keep it going. You can see that today. So areas where Carolina has struggled, where they haven't been able to make the plays, everything has come together this afternoon.
Punt angled towards the near side, taken by Burson, and he's tackled by Humber at the 39. Terrific defensive stand by the Carolina Panthers. Late 3rd quarter in New Orleans. Cam Newton and the Carolina Panthers leading Sean Payton's Saints 38-3. Panthers with 440 yards of offense. 4 times as many yards as New Orleans. From the 39 on 1st down, it's Jonathan Stewart. Looks to cut it back inside. Not much. Stewart with a 69-yard touchdown run earlier in this quarter. 146 on the day. Those look like the numbers that the Saints used to put up on teams.
Absolutely.
4-to-1 ratio. Panthers empty the backfield on 2nd and 9. Newton over the middle. And the catch is made by the tight end, the former Raven Ed Dixon, for a first down.
One of the things that Carolina has done really well offensively today is their second down production. And you can stay committed to the running game and play that style if you have the confidence, if it's a 2nd and 9, a 2nd and 10, you didn't have success on that first down run, to come back and get positive plays. And they've done that a number of times this afternoon to stay in accordance with down and distance.
First and 10 from midfield, off the fake to Whitaker. Vaccaro on the coverage, pass intended for Greg Olsen, who leads the Panthers with 9 receptions today. Had a touchdown back in the second quarter.
Again, the play action now, all the boot schemes come into play. Now it just becomes difficult because you have to cover the width of the field, the depth of the field. Carolina has thrown a lot of things at New Orleans defense today, and that's without D'Angelo Williams on the right there. Jonathan Stewart doing it all himself. Ozzie Whitaker with the big touchdown on the screen last series.
For the Saints, Brian Dixon in at corner for Keenan Lewis, out with cramps. His return is questionable. On 2nd and 10, this is Tolbert. And Mike Tolbert picks up a first down. Tolbert had only 15 yards on the ground coming into this game. He has 25 today, as he gained 15 on that one.
Well, we just showed you a picture on the sideline. You know, Jonathan Stewart, Ozzie Whitaker, D'Angelo Williams, who's inactive today. Well, who's going to carry the ball? The big man, Mike Tolbert.
I'll tell you what, he looked pretty good too there, Darryl. Tell you what, he's running hard.
That's some Jerome Bettis looking run right there.
That big ass bicep.
Excuse me, Goose?
Excuse me, hey, whoa.
You can say it on Fox Sports 1.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
There's Newton looking for Dixon. You said it's an asset, right?
Big asset.
Size is a big asset.
Doing huge curls. Big man running. Look at that guy right there. He's got it all. Fuel tank right around the midsection. This area. He's got the biceps.
Well, remember his time with the Chargers. He once scored 11 rushing touchdowns in one season for San Diego back in 2010.
He gives you the ability to take 2 roster spots, because obviously he's a great lead back as a fullback, and then we've seen today you can put him back at the top of the eye and he can do some damage.
Here is Newton floating one up towards the end zone. It was Dixon on the coverage. Philly Brown, the intended receiver.
A lot of confidence in his guys today, because it's just going to be floated up. Gets a good release off the line of scrimmage. He's beyond Brian Dixon right there. Again, we're having a little bit of contact before that ball arrives.
Yeah, but they haven't been calling that all game.
No, they really haven't. They've stayed consistent with it.
Yep.
Philly Brown is shaken up. In fact, this crew, Walt Coleman's crew, they've called the 3rd fewest penalties this season, the fewest defensive pass interference.
And teams know that.
Crew.
Yeah, defense coordinators, they'll come into a meeting, even back when me and Darryl played way back when, and they'll go and they'll tell you, hey, listen, these guys aren't going to go and call penalties, and you can get away with a little bit more, so push it a little bit, and that's something that you go and you play with.
16 more yards, guys, for Tolbert. Another Carolina first down.
Yeah, and credit Brian Dixon right here. He is outmanned in size, and he comes in and gets down there and gets Mike Tolbert down to the ground.
Dixon in for the injured Lewis. So the Panthers are in the red zone. 3 touchdowns in 4 red zone possessions, as you pointed out.
Express!
False start.
False start, number 88, offense, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
I don't know why you do a hard count on first down. Try to get a free play.
I like 1st and 5 better than 1st and 10.
But 1st and 15.
The way Carolina's offense is rolling today,
Yeah,
big
you're
deal.
right. Everything's been going against New Orleans, so why not try it, right?
So now back out of the red zone, 1st and 15 from the 24. Carolina Panthers leading 38-3. Here's Stewart, looks to bounce it back inside, and he gets swallowed up. Under 1 minute remaining, 3rd quarter here in New Orleans. Panthers approaching 500 yards of offense, now at 482, 4th most in franchise history. And it's a season high. The previous high, 431 in the overtime game, the tie in Cincinnati. Here's Stewart on 2nd down. Diving forward. Gains 3 down to the 21, and this should take us to the end of the 3rd quarter as Philly Brown, the rookie wide receiver out of Ohio State, will head back to the Carolina locker room. Panthers add to their lead. It was 24-3 at halftime, 2 3rd quarter touchdowns. Looking to pull to within 1 victory of the division lead. All Carolina Panthers, following 6 straight defeats, 7 consecutive games without a victory, they have come into New Orleans and lead Drew Brees and the Saints as we get set to start the 4th quarter, 38-3. D'Angelo Williams on the right next to Jonathan Stewart. Without Williams, Stewart has rushed for 149 yards. Panthers closing in on 500 yards of offense. 3rd down and 12 from the 21. As Newton sets up the screen, this is Olsen. He lost the football, then he falls on it. He appeared to fall on it. And he did. So 4th down and the field goal unit for Carolina.
Well, Ron Rivera made a comment this week. We are who our record says we are, and that's a 3-8-1 team coming in here, and they have not played like a 3-8-1 team. He may have to adjust that. Maybe a week-to-week thing here in the NFC South to figure out who you guys are. And I mean, this has been such an impressive performance by the Carolina Panthers this afternoon. Not any indication of a 3-8-1 team.
No. Graham Gano connects from 41 yards out as the Panthers extend their lead. It is now 41-3 Carolina. We are back in New Orleans where the Panthers have a 41-3 lead on the Saints following the 41-yard Graham Gano field goal. Season high in points for Carolina. Fewest points the Saints have ever scored under Sean Payton is 7. They've never been held below 7 during the Payton era. Week 14 continues later today on CBS, and for some of you on Fox. Then tonight, Sunday Night Football on NBC, and tune in tomorrow for Monday Night Football on ESPN. Both of these teams will have a close eye on the Falcons at Lambeau taking on the Packers. Atlanta, like New Orleans, with 5 wins, and the Falcons with a tough schedule down the stretch.
Yeah, you saw they have Green Bay tonight, then they have Pittsburgh at New Orleans and Carolina to finish the year.
Here is Brees dumping it off for Thomas. Thomas gains 1 as we check in with Kurt Menefee. Kurt.
All right, Le'Veon Bell, 6 yards away from 200 total yards in this game. The Steelers on top of Cincinnati. They literally just scored, pending the extra point. It's 34 on the verge of 35-21. Kenny.
All right, thanks, Kurt. Here's Colston for a Saints first down. Marcus Colston out to the 45, and it's been well documented that every team in the AFC North is at least 2 games above 500. All of the teams in the NFC South at least 2 games below, and these divisions played against each other this season. And the Steelers are the only team in the AFC North to lose to an NFC South opponent as Thomas takes it out to midfield. Steelers losing to both the Saints and the Buccaneers, but the NFC South teams have gone just 2-11-1 against the AFC North.
That's why coming into this game, New Orleans played so well last week at Pittsburgh. You thought that maybe they had got their season back on track.
Catch is made by Nick Toon for another Saints first down to the Carolina 39.
And they did it without any help from Jimmy Graham. The Steelers did a great job. He not only no catches, but not even targeted. So there was such a great performance by all the supporting cast of the Saints offense. You wondered how Carolina was going to defend that, and they have just been outstanding today defensively.
Timeout is taken by the Panthers. Saints with that 35-32 win over the Steelers in Pittsburgh last week. Big difference. Only 8 first downs today. Second quarter field goal from Shane Graham. He also missed one. But the Saints have not been able to reach the end zone. Breeze with 5 touchdown passes last Sunday in Pittsburgh. And Breeze has thrown a touchdown pass in 30 consecutive games. Of course, he once held the record for consecutive games with a touchdown pass before it was broken by Peyton Manning. Here's Breeze on first down. It's Colston again, and he takes a hard hit from his longtime teammate, Roman Harper, and Colston a bit slow to get up.
Marcus Colston coming out of the slot, pushing it just straight up the field, finds that little soft spot, but as you pointed out, Roman Harper's right there.
Yeah, Colston did not have control, so it's ruled an incomplete pass on the hit from Harper. Harper still very close with numerous Saints. In fact, he went on vacation with some of his ex-teammates during the offseason.
And Darryl crashed the party too, I heard.
That's right. Here's 2nd and 10.
Where was it at, Darryl? Tell us.
We were down in Cabo, and, you know, us gray-haired guys got to stick together, so I recognized Roman by the pool, and he was with Jonathan Goodwin and Jari Evans, and Jermon Bushrod had come down from Chicago, and they get together every year, and they take the trip with their wives, and it was really cool to see. They were fun. Every day they were off to a new adventure. Fishing, golfing.
They invite you along?
No, I was not on the inside. I got to hang out with them for a day, but it was one of the things that I've always told you know, guys when they're playing. If you have an opportunity to be a part of a championship team, you know, take time in the off season to go celebrate that and create memories. And it was great to see Roman and his guys, you know, still together even with the change in teams, that they take the time out in the off season, because it is such a long, hard, challenging season. And afterwards, if you really kind of just jump right back into it, you miss out on that opportunity to create some memories. And it was just, I was happy to see those guys that, you know, it was important to them to get away with their wives and spend some time together and reminisce about what they'd accomplished so far.
2nd and 10 from the 25-yard line. Catch is made by Joe Morgan. He pulled it in at the 11 for a Saints first down.
You know, Darryl, you talk about Roman Harper. He's a special kind of guy. I mean, he you know, goes over to Carolina and, you know, talking to all the DBs and all of his teammates. He's just fit right in, became an instant leader, knows what it takes to win, and they all, you know, just follow in his footsteps. And he's going to gain a lot of friends and memories there in Carolina also.
There is a flag on the play as Breeze was taken down.
Illegal shift in the offense. 2 men moving and not resetting. That penalty's declined. 4th down.
Going to have the 2 guys split out to the left. You can see that they were both moving as they came to the line of scrimmage when the ball was. But again, there's that getting Drew Brees off the spot. It's been impressive to watch Carolina's front able to generate pressure with that down 4 and allow those 7 guys to be back in coverage and clog all those throwing lanes.
Mario Addison bringing down Breeze. Penalty decline, now 4th and 16. Breeze in trouble. Now he throws, and it's broken up. Still's the intended receiver, Trey Boston, over to make the play. So the Panthers will take over on downs, leading by 38. Yes, 38. Cam Newton and the Carolina Panthers out to a 41-3 lead after Newton gave the Panthers a 17-point lead in the first quarter. Tempers flared. Carolina tight end Brandon Williams was ejected. But the Panthers in a shocker here in New Orleans, lead by 38. Jonathan Stewart knocked out of bounds at the 38 after picking up 7. It's week 14 as we check out the playoff picture in the NFC.
Well, we thought we were going to get some clarity here in the NFC South. The Saints maybe jumping ahead to get to 6 and 7, force the Falcons, who play the Packers tomorrow night, to put them in a difficult spot. But Carolina crashed that party and has come out and played great. So the NFC South will continue to be jumbled. And the Falcons have a tough schedule down the stretch. The Saints and the Panthers have a similar schedule down the stretch. So this is going to make things very, very interesting.
Here's Stewart, and although the Carolina Panthers were not a part of that graphic, with only 3 wins coming into the game, with the victory today, they are very much still in the hunt.
And we talked about Ron Rivera and his team. He made the statement that we are who our record says we are, and that really put them in a position today of being on the cusp of elimination. This was a do-or-die scenario for the Carolina Panthers, and they have responded, and it's been an impressive showing. I mean, everything that they talked about that has happened to them during this 6-game losing streak, you know, there's plays to be made, we're not making them. You know, things that we did last year, we're just not doing this season. Everything came together for them this afternoon. They've been very, very effective. Offensively, great defensively, great complementary football.
On 3rd down and 4, it is Stewart, and he will not get there.
So they'll get to 4-8-1. The Saints will drop to 5-8. So the Carolina Panthers down the stretch after today. Tampa Bay 2-10. Cleveland 7-5. One of those AFC North teams that have really dominated the NFC South this season, and then Atlanta. So, you know, could they get all the way to 7-8-1? If they continue to play like they did today, absolutely. Yeah, this has been impressive to watch.
Tolbert on the last carry for Carolina, stopped a yard shy. So Nortman punting from his 30-yard line. A couple of big returns by Saunders earlier. Well, this time he is stopped shy of the 20. 9 minutes remaining in New Orleans. All smiles on the Carolina bench. Drew Brees remains in the game for the Saints, trailing by 38 with 9 minutes remaining in the 4th. There is Derek Anderson, Cam Newton's backup, across the way. From the 17 on 1st down, this is Thomas. And Pierre Thomas picks up the Saints' 1st down. Only the 10th 1st down for New Orleans today. Now Brees backpedaling. And he throws it away before he was knocked down by Wes Horton. Time for a game break to Los Angeles. Joel Klatt. Joel.
Kenny, coming up, it's Mark Sanchez, LaShawn McCoy, and the Philadelphia Eagles as they take on the defending Super Bowl champion Seattle Seahawks and Russell Wilson. It's America's Game of the Week next on Fox. Kenny, Moose, and Goose.
That's Joel. Mark Sanchez facing his coach at USC, Pete Carroll.
Yeah, Eagles coming off of 10 days rest, not having played since Thanksgiving Day.
2nd and 10. The screen to Thomas. And Thomas gets tripped up down at the 32-yard line.
Having that break, Darryl, that 10 days that you said off that Philadelphia's had, is that a positive or is that a negative? You feel like you're you're out of rhythm as an offense or as a team, or did you really enjoy that and it was almost like a break?
We considered it a mini bye, and Dallas will get it now. They went Thursday, Thanksgiving to Thursday night versus Chicago, and now they'll get that 10 days leading up to their next game. But yeah, we use it as a mini bye. I felt like we got refreshed getting into that big December push.
Colston gains 28, so we look forward to watching the Eagles and the Seahawks. Philadelphia in first place at 9-3. Seattle at 8-4. The matchup of the Eagles offense against the Seahawks defense. Travaris Cadet takes the handoff from Breeze down to the 34-yard line. We've talked throughout the afternoon about the NFC South and which team will make it to the postseason and host a playoff game. You think back to 2010, Seattle won their division. They won the West at 7-9, hosted the Saints, who were the defending champions at the time, and the 7-9 Seahawks won that wild card game.
Yeah, and New Orleans went out there and they had 10-point leads twice early in that game. The second time getting it to 17-7. We all remember the beast mode Marshawn Lynch run that just electrified that crowd. So everybody's clamoring for how can we have a team without a winning record as a division winner in the playoffs, and the Seattle Seahawks not only get in there but then take out the Saints and move on to the divisional round.
And those Seahawks, the only team below 500.
Number 95 defense lined up in the neutral zone. That penalty's declined. Play results in a first down.
That's on Charles Johnson. Those Seahawks, the only below 500 team to win a division, and here is what the Saints have to look forward to.
And I think if the Saints would have come out today and played well, I think you look at that schedule and say it's very manageable. I think right now you look at that in Chicago at 5-8. If I'm Mark Trestman, I am running Matt Forte until you stop him, because that seems to be the area that the Saints defense is really struggling at. I mean, today 266 yards rushing for the Carolina Panthers. Now there's some quarterback yards in there, but Jonathan Stewart was excellent today. Mike Tolbert, when he was running the ball, I'm not going to stop. So if you look at that schedule post-game and you look and say, well, what do you think the New Orleans Saints are going to do there? Well, who knows? Chicago, that's up in the air. Atlanta, Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay's been playing well down the stretch. Seems to have gotten kind of sorted out. Detroit's been putting it on them a little bit today. But they're a team you never know what you're going to get. I don't think anybody can predict what New Orleans is going to do moving forward after their performance today.
Second down and 6. Breeze swings it out to Cadet. And Cadet takes it inside the 10. Congratulations to Jeff Fisher's Rams. They've had so many obstacles to get through this year, injuries to key players. They go to 6-7 with their second consecutive shutout. First team with 2 shutouts this season, back-to-back weeks over the Raiders and the Redskins. And they had gone 8 years since their last shutout prior to last week. Pass off the fingertips of Colston. So you have the Rams sitting at 6-7. They have a better record than any team in the NFC South.
They win. That's what happens when you play in the West. And you want to get Drew Brees off his spot. You want to do all these different things when you play against this Saints offense. There's playmakers across the formation. It's so difficult with your matchups. And hats off to Sean McDermott and his group. Roman Harper told us they've been playing better. They're getting close. They're starting to buy into what we're doing. He was excited to play with the young guys today in that secondary. They've done a great job. The down 4 has gotten pressure. They have moved Drew Brees off that spot, and they've played coverage with the 7 guys they can drop.
Brees on 2nd and goal, and that pass bounces away from Graham.
It's been physical and tight coverage all day long. Jimmy Graham on the inside, just a simple flat route. Thomas Davis. There's not many linebackers in the NFL that you're going to feel comfortable with in a one-on-one situation with Jimmy Graham, but Thomas Davis has done an excellent job today in coverage.
Graham battling through the shoulder issues, no catches last week. He's had only 1 reception today, another 3 that he had a chance to make a play on. Breeze on 3rd and goal, throws, and taking it in for the touchdown is the backup tight end, Benjamin Watson. So the Saints finally reach the end zone, and Breeze extends his streak 31 straight games with a touchdown pass.
Which was not easy in this game, Kenny. They were doing everything they could, this Carolina defense.
Well, he tried the out route on the last one. This time, let's bring him all the way across from the opposite side of the formation on that route, and just doesn't get picked up on the backside in the zone coverage. There were no receivers to the left side of the Saints office. Nobody picked up Benjamin Watson coming across the formation.
So the Saints avoid being held to their lowest ever point total under Sean Payton, which remains 7. 12-play, 83-yard drive. Saints finally reach the end zone. It's now a 31-point game as Cam Newton and the Panthers have come into New Orleans. They led 17-0 after one, 24-3 at the half, and 38-3 after 3 quarters. Jericho Cotchery comes up with the football. We take you back to week 9 in Charlotte. Cam Newton held to a career low 10 completions in that game, won by the Saints 28-10.
And I think the big difference you'll see is he was under duress in that week 9 matchup. The Saints defense really applying pressure. The Carolina offensive line did a great job today, and you see the numbers from week 9 to today, and I think probably the biggest reason why there is the play of the offensive line. They've been excellent with their run blocking, very good in protection.
Well, the Panthers have sent in both of their backup quarterbacks, Derek Anderson and Joe Webb. Webb comes in motion to the right. He's played some wide receiver in his career, listed as the 3rd-string quarterback on the depth chart. So it's Anderson who takes the snap and hands it off to Fozzie Whitaker. So Webb, who started 4 games at quarterback for the Vikings, getting some playing time late, as well as Anderson, who started week 1 for the Panthers against Tampa Bay.
Yeah, got him off to that 1-0 start, and then Cam Newton in the next week against Detroit to get to 2-0. We've seen the team that Detroit's become. They're ahead of Tampa Bay this afternoon, and it looked like a promising start. And they ran into some tough teams. They had Baltimore, they had Pittsburgh, and Roman Harper told us, we got roughed up against those 2 teams, and then Green Bay got us. But our other losses, we were in a position to win those games, and we're a young team, and we're trying to find our way, and it does take a while. I was part of a 1-15 team, and one of the reasons why is we couldn't find a way to win a game. We would find a way to lose a game, from time to time, and that's kind of the bad luck that stumbled onto Carolina in that 6-game stretch. Again, I talked about this earlier. Great opportunity for Cam Newton this year with a young team. If they are going with the youth movement in Carolina and the strong personality of Steve Smith isn't there, and at some point Kelvin Benjamin will step up as a guy on the outside, probably a strong personality guy with his success as a wide receiver. Cam Newton has a great opportunity to now. It's by de facto because you're the quarterback, but just be that guy that if I ask somebody on the offensive side of the ball, who's the leader of the Carolina Panthers offensively? Without hesitation, everybody says Cam Newton.
Who today matched his career high with 3 touchdown passes. Also ran for 1. You look at this NFC South, Darryl. They've gone without a repeat division winner over the last 11 seasons. Carolina won the division last year. They still have a shot.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the NFC East, is that going to end this year? Are the Eagles going to win back-to-back division championships and end that streak with the East? I was surprised to see that it's been 9 seasons.
Cowboys the last 3 years have had an opportunity on the final night of the regular season.
They wanted to keep the streak going.
Nortman punts it away. So the Saints will be pinned deep with just over 3 minutes remaining. Well, this Saturday, our own Joe Buck will be in Florida with Greg Norman to bring you the final round of the Franklin Templeton Shootout as some of the best golfers in the world compete with over $3 million on the line. It all starts Saturday at 1 Eastern, only on Fox, and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Drew Brees back out, 3:05 remaining. The Saints have not lost 4 straight at home since the 2005 season. They've had such an unbelievable home field advantage for the most part throughout the Sean Payton era. winning all 8 here at home last season, first 3 this year, but this will be their 4th consecutive home loss. Yet, with the Falcons in action tomorrow in Green Bay, there's a good possibility that 36 hours from now, they will still be tied for the division lead in the wins column.
But the big thing it comes back to, it doesn't matter whether it's here at home or on the road, they've been very inconsistent. And when we talked to Sean Payton, we talked to Drew Brees, the guys here with the Saints, and said, is there anything you guys look at specifically with the mojo at home? It just doesn't seem to be there anymore. And they're like, no, it doesn't have anything to do with home and away. It just, we're not playing good football. And, you know, unfortunately, the last 3 games that we've played at home, those have all been games we've played poor football. Now it's 4 consecutive home games where they have not played good football. So they've got to get this figured out. It's been one of those things that every week we talk to the teams, and inconsistency seems to be the real commonly used word, and nobody can really put their finger on it. It's one of those things that's happened in the NFC South this year, and it's unbelievable, you know, to see the way that this game transpired during the course of the afternoon. Did not see this one coming.
Saints center Jonathan Goodwin shaken up. Tim Lolito snapping the ball to Drew Brees just in case. Lolito has started 2 games this season. We'll be back. 31-point lead for Carolina, just shy of 500 total yards. 38-point deficit for the Saints in the 3rd quarter, their largest in 11 years. Only 55 passing yards in the first half for Drew Brees, as Pierre Thomas picks up a first down and then is tackled from behind at the 36-yard line. He gains 16. A timeout is taken with 2:20 remaining and an injured Panther. It's backup linebacker Ben Jacobs. Great job by our entire crew here in New Orleans today. Led by producer Barry Landis, our director Brian Lilly, sideline producer Nick Gagliano. Associate director is Joe Williams, broadcast associate Paul Marmero, technical producer Sid Drexler, technical director is Chris Castro. Dave Corris crunching the numbers for us, along with Rick Camps and Ben Boma.
What a team we got, Kenny. What a team.
The best.
Also, Joe Gagliano wanted to wish him a happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Joe, as Brees sets up the screen. It's Thomas. Thomas out to the 39, and this will take us to the 2-minute warning. All Carolina, as they will win for the 4th time this season and stay alive. Not a good day for the New Orleans Saints. They fell behind early, turned the ball over twice on their first 2 possessions. Cam Newton and the Panthers capitalized. And Ron Rivera's club remaining very much alive in the NFC South. This is Morgan. Carolina home for their next 2, hosting Tampa Bay and Cleveland. And then week 17 in Atlanta. Falcons with a huge game tomorrow night in Green Bay. And for Sean Payton's Saints, they will drop to 5-8. Atlanta 5-7, Carolina 4-8-1. This is Graham, only his 2nd catch. This play is blown dead. It's a false start.
Penalty, still first down.
Jimmy Graham, the 2-time Pro Bowl tight end, nothing last week, only 2 catches today for the North Carolina native. Here's Thomas. Thomas to the Carolina 35 as the clock winds down. We approach 1 minute remaining.
They've kind of got to get that Jimmy Graham thing sorted out. I mean, I know last week in Pittsburgh, I think you can rally around the fact that, you know, you still have 5 touchdown passes and he's not even targeted, but he's too important to this offense. He's, you know, I know the shoulder's an issue. It's probably impacted his production during the course of the year, but he has to be a part of what they're doing. He has to become one of those players that draws the double coverage, that opens things up for the other receivers in this offense.
2 games without a catch this season. Had only 1 reception prior to this drive. To the 25-yard line, it is Thomas. So not much clarity following this one in the NFC South. As the Panthers go to 4-8-1, they will end their 6-game losing streak, their first victory in 64 days. Off the left hand of Graham. 29 seconds on the clock. So Atlanta at 5-7, first place in the division. And they will remain in first place even with a loss tomorrow in Green Bay because of the head-to-head overtime victory over New Orleans back in week 1. Falcons and Saints here at the Dome 2 weeks from today. Holston. So the Carolina Panthers come into New Orleans and defeat the Saints by the score of 41-10 as Cam Newton ties his career high with 3 touchdown passes to Cleveland for the conclusion of the Browns and the Colts.